Ah, well, we made it. It is Friday. Hopefully, the world decides, you know what? This past week has been crazy. Let's take a weekend and relax. And we don't all have to keep watching the news and paying attention to whether or not cities are being burned down yet. Let's save that for next week. Give us something to talk about next week. Because holy crap, has this been insane. K Scoop, what's up? From one double O to another. It's not alcohol. Obviously, I wish it was, but it's not. What's up, Lily? How you doing? We are going to be joined shortly by our good friend Drunk 3PO. Finishing off his Welcome to the Rebellion show right now. And I'm guessing he's just finished because he has.
There we go.
Welcome to the court.
Ooh, I feel lucky.
How you doing, man?
Am I the first one to be over here?
You are, yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
What's up, chat? Look at it. The raid work. I think
It
so.
did, yes.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna need more mods, man. Nagranal's a good mod. You got Casey as a mod.
Yep.
You know, if you got 130 plus people watching. Look at that.
Welcome. If you haven't been here before, this is the King's Court. It's my LawTube channel. We talk about a whole lot of stuff. I know you spent a bunch of time earlier today talking about some of the insanity going on in New York City and Portland and Minnesota. It's gearing up to be another summer of 2020. Just in January.
You think Trump will let that happen this time, though? If if they start rioting and all these things, like, do you think they're gonna? You think he'll just? Also, the one question I had for you is if Tim Walz ignites the National Guard against ICE, how does that work?
He can't. So the Supremacy Clause makes this very clear that in the pecking order, the federal government is number one. If you, as the governor of a state, mobilize your National Guard to protect against any sort of thing, whether it is a natural disaster, whether or not it's looting, something like that, once the federal government comes in, they are superior. They are number one in that chain. So if you try to tell your local LEOs, local law enforcement, that they are going to be the ones to be in charge of everything, you lose. You lose that battle every single time. So for him to sit there and insinuate that they're going to be in charge, or that the Minnesota National Guard is there to protect Minnesotans and not to do the job that the federal government's going to tell them to do, is flat wrong. To the point that if I was the AG, the second the National Guard defies an order, I am indicting both Tim Walz and the Adjutant General of Minnesota.
So what's his play in all this?
I think he's trying not to be a total failure, which he clearly is. I mean, his control of Minnesota has been so bad. He's resigned, or he's dropped out of the race before the race has even started. They haven't. Yeah, people have already started filing, but the primaries are still like 6 months away.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it has been a total collapse of leadership.
I want to show you some things.
Yeah.
And like, this is what the progressive left, whenever you're ready to show, this is what they think. And this is what they're running.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Gavin Newsom is elected president, Donald Trump is going to prison. Kristi Noem is going to prison. Pam Bondi's going to prison.
What's Pam Bondi going to prison for? What has she done?
Yeah, she hasn't done anything, right? Tulsi's going to prison. Pete's going to prison. Kash Patel's going to prison. This is what they freaking think, dude.
Well, and what's so funny is they don't even understand the way the federal government works. All of these people have immunity from anything that someone thinks is a crime. They have governmental immunity because they are doing their job. It would take a war and then a victor to override that immunity, something like Nuremberg. Like, none of that's happening. All these people have qualified immunity as long as the crime that someone thinks occurred while they were doing their job. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then we've got the dumbass from California, Eric. What's the nickname for him? You had a pretty good
Eric Fang Sidewall or whatever his name is, the guy that's running for governor. Yeah.
Did you see his first big video for it?
It's so bad. It is like it is like,
yeah, it's that TikTok trend thing with him and the little black kid behind him, who I have no idea who that is.
He's a TikToker. That's all.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah. So he's trying to get the youngsters vote.
Who are far and away. I mean, Gen Z right now is one of the most conservative groups in America. It's insane how.
I think he knows that, and that's why he was trying to get that. Also, I want to show you this too, if you don't mind, while I'm here. This is what I didn't get a chance to get through.
Oh yeah.
It has been revealed that 54% of all what is this?
Domiciled, so people that don't live in North Carolina.
Commercial driver's license issued by the state of North Carolina were issued illegally or to immigrants who cannot speak English at all. This is crazy. It's only a 30-second clip.
Losing nearly $50 million in federal funding if the state doesn't revoke commercial driver's licenses granted to unqualified immigrants. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy writing, quote, North Carolina's failure to follow the rules isn't just shameful, it's dangerous. I'm calling on state leadership to immediately remove these dangerous drivers from our roads and clean up their system. Push comes after the DOT found that of the 50 North Carolina immigrant CDLs they reviewed, 54% of them were issued illegally. Those are your headlines of losing.
So North Carolina is a shit show right now.
How does that happen? That happen?
You have leadership in North Carolina who is so full of TDS that all they want is to do everything that Trump doesn't want. I don't even remember who it was the other day that came out and was absolutely right on the money. Trump could come out tomorrow and say, by the way, I found out that, what's the Microsoft guy's name?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates and Tim Cook and all these people have been hoarding the cure for cancer. I have found it. I've released it for public on the web, all the ingredients, all that. Go save yourselves. And they would go, this man is destroying the healthcare system of America. It is insane, the level of TDS in these leaders across the country. So North Carolina has an issue going on in Mecklenburg County, which is basically where Charlotte is. And the sheriff, Lily, I know you're from North Carolina, so if I get this wrong, let me know. The sheriff has just resigned because he tried to get state legislators to pass a bill, and when they refused to do it, he threatened them, saying, well, I sure hope you never need any help here. And basically saying my cops will not respond to phone calls from you. And he's now been forced to resign over it. It's insane. It is a level of corruption. I remember being 10 years old and watching CBS late night on the Sunday show that came on after the Catch Predator.
Yes.
And so you had to Catch Predator, which was always about finding predators. And then there was another show that came on after that was about like crazy corruption. And there was a judge that in some small town in like, I don't even know where, somewhere down here, I think, that they tried to get him out of office. And he basically said, anyone that doesn't vote for me in this town, I will ruin you. And after he got back in office, spent like 3 months going through the votes and like going after people that didn't vote for him. Eventually, the state government had to get involved. But that's the kind of shit we're dealing with in this. Is you've got legislators, you've got elected officials, judges who are so angry that Trump's in office and are so angry that their gravy trains are now derailed that they're terrified of what the future holds for them. So they're doing everything they can to hold on to that power. And I mean, that's what you're really seeing in Judge Boebert or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That, I mean, he's inserting himself into cases. They finally filed articles of impeachment against him and then one other judge, who are they're taking the law into their own hands. It's absolutely disgraceful.
What man, you got 200 people here. You gotta say hi to some of these people, man. I love seeing them.
I'm getting kind of freaked out.
Icanelis,
B-Man.
Look at Wasp. Wasp is hail to our king.
Wasp is awesome. I love Wasp.
I'd love to get this channel monetized. He's got a few 100 hours left.
Yeah.
So
we're sitting at just under 500 hours now.
We can do it, Chad. We can do it. Even after I leave, you guys just hang out for a little bit. You know, we can get this done. Dreaming Tabitha says you're doing great, Kings.
And I believe it's Dreaming Tabitha's birthday today. So happy birthday.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I think she had a birthday stream yesterday. So anyway, same week, right?
Yeah. I was off by a day. Story of my life.
Look at Nagranal. Hail to the king, baby. Dougie B is here. Texas Goon
says
hail, like and subscribe.
Thanks so
Look
much,
at that.
Guys. This has been it's been so funny to like actually enjoy making videos again. And like Jay, thank you so much for pushing me to actually do this.
No, man, I think it's good to have good lawyers out there and like understand the law, especially like people like me that don't understand how things work, and to come over here and see how things work. But because like I always have a lot of questions. It's just like you see stuff and like this whole thing that's happening in Minnesota with this woman.
Yeah. So and that's what's so crazy about it. You know, you'll have people from the local news all the way up to whatever show on whatever cable show, and who are just sitting there talking about, oh, the wheels were turned and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, no, I got a term for you. It's called escalation of violence.
Yeah.
Police officers are trained to react one level above the violence being bestowed to them. So if you're just walking around yelling, they basically just come over here and tell you to be quiet. If you start brandishing weapons, they pull out their weapons. If you start attacking someone, they shoot you. You take a 2,000-pound vehicle, 7-ton vehicle, and aim it at a police officer and start driving, you get shot. That's what happens. Okay? This woman had a history of following ICE. She had a history of going around and threatening people. They had every right to be concerned for their safety. And the thing that annoys me, I'm sure you've seen the video.
Oh yeah, every angle.
Yeah, they keep using those like 6 or 7 seconds that shows the cop that did fire behind the other cop that was at the door to make it look like it's the cop that's at the door that fired. They're doing the exact same thing that the BBC did to Trump, and they fired people at the BBC for that. So they got to start firing people. You know, Christy Noem's going to have a lawsuit against CNN.
It just seems like everything is so chaotic right now. It's hard to keep up, like with the officers, you know, and it's like, it's almost as if we have been running such a fraudulent, chaotic country that everybody's been doing that now when things are starting to get like out in the open a little bit, you know, people are seeing it, and now people are running. You know?
Yeah. Well, and you've also got there was a shooting in Portland.
Yeah.
You know, Portland's famous for being calm and collected. You know, I'm sure there's not going to be any overreaction over there. It's going to be totally safe.
No, it's
kidding.
But I mean, Portland had that makeshift city at that one point, right?
Chaz,
Was that in Portland or in Washington?
Yeah.
It was one of those places over there.
I think it was Portland.
And that didn't work out.
Yeah, and now they're doing it again in Minnesota.
And now they're trying to do it in Minnesota. It was in Seattle. Okay, thank you. And
was it Seattle? Okay.
It's just like it's just like, I don't get these people, man. Like we showed today on the show where this lady was like, I feel like because I'm white, I shouldn't be going to send my regards for someone because of my privilege. And like, yeah, here it is. And it's like, now these people, they feel like they're saving their town by basically just putting garbage in there. You know, like they really think they're doing something.
Like, well, and you said it, you had said it earlier, and you were spot on that this entire thing is a bunch of kids that spent, third grade being bullied by the guy on the bus, and they've never gotten over it. Or they went to theater class and they never got picked up at Broadway, or they lost their scholarship to the San Francisco School of the Arts, and they just want to yell and scream. That's what you've seen the videos of the what do you call them? The retreats for people to just go and scream at, which is honestly what I should do. I should just go, I got land. I should just hire or tell a bunch of leftists, you want to come to my screaming retreat, and just go scream in the middle of Orangeburg. I mean, that'd be hilarious. And I'd film it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I just, the thing is, it's like if we cut off, which I don't know if we're allowed to, if we cut off all federal funding,
absolutely,
and we cut everything off, like I remember, okay, so going back, I remember, it's so crazy when the college students in certain campuses were doing this for Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
They built little forts inside the college area.
Mm-hmm.
And so while they were there, they were living there and they were protesting their college for helping anything that wasn't pro-Palestine. And then all of a sudden they gave a list of demands. Look at Mexican Iron Man.
Yeah.
For $200, you too can attend the King's Court weekend screaming retreat. There's Wicked Virtue.
What's up, Wicked?
It's so funny to me because after like 4 days, they came out and with a list of demands for the college. And I remember going over that. They were like, we're not being fed. We need to get food and water in here.
Exactly.
And the college was like, you can just walk down to the commissary and get your own food. Like, we're not bringing food out here. So then they're like, we got to stop our protest because they're not feeding us. And the colleges were like, they got free food over here. They can walk. They literally just got to walk to another building and they can get food. We're not bringing it to them. And it's like, yeah, it's all theatrics to them. And then they think they're doing something special.
Yeah.
When they're just playing pretend.
It's a bunch of people who want to be perpetually angry. And I've had those moments where, it's very easy. I'm sure you had this when you were doing videos on that lovely hotel. It's very easy to make a video when you're upset about something because you feel like this sense of kind of like righteous indignation. It's very easy. if you're happy and everything's going great in your life, it's a little difficult to make the video because you're like, I kind of got to get down to a level of annoyance for me at least, to like put in the time and everything. And these people just want to live in a level so much deeper from that. They just want to be constantly angry at everything. And what's so annoying is I've said this for a long time, everyone should just say, you know what? Let's see if it'll work. Let's give him a year. We're not going to file lawsuits. We're not going to, we'll do the votes. If it's truly a bad bill, we'll debate and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But unanimous consent, let's go. You want to come in and knock this stuff out? Let's do. But what we're not going to do is, do everything to prevent what the people voted for from happening. Yeah. And I think people have just forgotten that this is not a we don't elect a minority. We elect the winner.
Yes.
The winner gets to go out there and say, hey, I won. Look at what I did. I took every single swing state. I grew in every single category of voter. My mandate is these 3 or 4 things. And honestly, I'm a little annoyed that it took him a year to say, you know what? We're not going to let BlackRock buy single family homes.
Yeah, that
is huge though.
Way overdue, but we made it,
Yeah, I mean that, and I was talking about this a while back. There's 3 or 4 things to do that could lower the price of a home within a month. And it would be stop Zillow and BlackRock from being able to buy up all the homes. Because what the dude with the LLC does, he goes and he buys 3 or 4 homes over the course of 3 years, and that's his empire. BlackRock buys up whole subdivisions and streets. Like they're the ones affecting it, not the guy that has an LLC in his name. So stopping that, stopping the H-1B visa abuse, and stopping the FHA abuse, all of that overnight, you've got maybe not overnight, but within a month or 2, house prices probably go down about 20%. We're already seeing it. House prices have already started to go down 3 or 4% over the last month.
It's a big issue actually in Florida, where these companies buy up all this land and they build hundreds of homes.
Yeah.
And it's like they own them all. And they're not even well built homes. They're just quickly built homes. And they sell them for ridiculous. I mean, as high as they can get them. And then they just leave. And then they give everybody a 1-year warranty. And then after that year, it's like
it's 1-year warranties for basically everything in the home. Then it's 2 years for plumbing and electrical issues, and then it's 10 years for structural issues like your foundation and things like that. And so it's interesting. So D.R. Horton's actually facing a class action lawsuit out of Florida because
Horton has bought up in Central Florida miles acres of land, and they're just
thousands probably.
Yeah.
So one of the lawsuit, it's got a lot of legs to stand on. The lawsuit claims that D.R. Horton, because they run their closing department in Florida through D.R. Horton, not through attorneys' offices, because I think Florida is a title state, not an attorney state. Which means that in South Carolina, a attorney has to be at the table to do the closing. You cannot, which is why I was so angry that I got fired. But that's nonetheless. So in Florida and a bunch of other states, the vast majority of them are Midwest and out towards like California. You don't need an attorney at the table, and you don't need an attorney involved at all. They're called title states to where a title office is the one that really runs the show. So one of the things they'll do is they will set up your escrow account using your lot's portion of the parent parcel. And what that means is, so an escrow account is in every state but California, is to pay off your property tax and your homeowner's insurance every year. So your escrow account, you put in the same, let's call it $250 every single month. And then 2 times a year, there's a big old debit for your property tax and your homeowner's insurance. The escrow account in South Carolina, the way we do it is we base it off of the sales price. So we take your sales price and we multiply it by the tax rate. And that usually gets us pretty close. Sometimes the county will be like, well, it's actually worth another 10 grand. Raises your escrow account $20. What D.R. Horton in Florida has been doing is they've been basing that property tax, which is already pretty high in Florida. They've been basing it off of the lot's value without the home. So if the property tax on the 200 acres is $100,000, well, there's 1,000 lots on that thing. So they've been saying, okay, the entire year's property tax is $100, which is definitely not true. So people have been going in thinking that they're going to be paying $2,100 a month. And then they find out, oh, now I have to pay $2,700 a month because now the actual property tax bill is hit. So D.R. Horton's they're going to be some shit for that.
I hope they do something, because with the new law in Florida where people have to vote on it, where you don't have to pay personal property tax, at least on your home.
Mm-hmm. Primary home, right?
If that passes, then, a lot of people are saying, so the Democratic opposition to that is saying, if that passes, then home prices here will skyrocket, because they know people will hear, you don't have to pay taxes on your home anymore, so let's just charge more.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Which is like, I mean, I guess in some theory that could be it.
The home price in Florida will not go up that much. The only reason it would go up is because it will drive in more people to live there. But it's not going to go up because you don't have to pay property tax.
Well, the biggest problem in Florida now is that they're overbuilding,
and
there's a lot of empty houses, and so the prediction here, at least what I'm hearing from the people here, and that there's going to be some kind of a crash in Florida, not in other states, but in Florida, because when COVID happened and we were all locked in, people started moving to Florida at record paces. And now there's an assumption that people from New York are going to be moving to Florida in record paces. So like that, they're revving up the buildings of houses and they're overbuilding everywhere. So there's just tons of empty homes. And if that's not true, if that's not true, then the market's just going to crash, because people don't like. We've already seen a decrease in like rental properties, and like if you go on Zillow and look at like the Florida homes in wherever, you could see it's like $20,000 off, $40,000 off, $50,000 off. There was 3 homes that I was looking at that was in Celebration, Florida. I could never afford to live there, but they were going at $800,000, and now they're $200,000 off.
Yeah, so
$200,000.
That's insane. One of the things to look at when you're looking at those kind of things is what sort of home is it? Is it a home built pre 2010?
Oh yeah. They're like, you're talking like 7-bedroom.
Yeah, but is it one of these D.R. Horton homes or something?
No.
Okay.
Not mass production.
Yeah, what these mass builders will do is they'll start building homes, and then if those first 3 or 4 haven't sold by the time they get to like the 8th or 9th home, they'll start cutting them $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 so that they can get people in and start making money so they can start building further down the street. It's mass-produced homes are a decent stepping stone to being able to get into better property, because it's sort of taken over that starter home type thing where you go, you
easy,
get that.
Of course.
Yeah, it's very
I think
easy.
they just want people in
huge incentives.
They want people in debt, and and they just want them locked in at like such a high price with a high interest rate. But Kings, I'm gonna bounce.
Yep.
I think you should hang out with your chat today. Let them get to know you. Ask him a lot of questions, chat.
Feel free.
Get his PIN number, all that stuff.
Don't do that.
And good luck to you, man, in getting monetized.
I appreciate it, man.
I hope I helped get a little bit closer.
Absolutely.
And get ready for daily. So
have fun.
I'll see you Saturday, brother.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Let's lower that a little bit. What's up, guys? Who's got questions? I'm not going to tell you that, Zero. Not happening. Sorry, man. It was your mom avenue. So while I load up our next topic of conversation, the name of my first pet was your mom. Let's go. Let's see. My favorite color is white. Grunt, we're not talking about that. So this was really kind of cool. So I guess ICE has been pulling in groups from field offices down in California, because there was an LA field office special response team up in let's see, where was this? Nick was in Minnesota last night, right? Or was he in Portland? I think it was in Minnesota. So there's a LA ICE team over in Minnesota right now, and they gave him one of their challenge coins, which is pretty cool. That is true. White is the absence of color, and black is all colors combined. B-Man, I say I shaved because I have job interviews I have to work on, and because I got laid off last Friday. So I am job hunting. Which means I need to refresh my email and see if anyone has said, hey, we want to hire you. Nope, not yet. That sucks. Yeah, Grunt. So that too. So I would argue that Waltz and the mayor of, who's the mayor of Minnesota? It's that weird dude, isn't it? That ate the weird bean stuff. Minneapolis, not Minnesota. Jacob Frey. So I would argue that Jacob Frey is complicit in every single crime that goes on in the city of Minneapolis over the last 2 nights, and he needs to be indicted by the state. The state needs to indict him for everything that he has done. If they have proof that he has ordered the Minneapolis PD to stand down to phone calls from people claiming that they're being attacked by protesters, then he's complicit in every single crime that goes down. And if any of those protesters attack ICE officers or DHS, I would argue that Kristi Noem needs to refer him to the DOJ for federal indictments, because you cannot sit there and tell the police not to respond. Mexican Ironman says there's a position available at Chateau Mexican Ironman now, seeking intake manager for assessment of smoking hot Venezuelan lady migrants to reside here on Hilton Head Island. Well, let me think about it. Let me send me what the employment package looks like, and I will. I'll let you know. I want to look at this. I don't know if we might hit some of the same stuff that Jay talked about. If we do, apologies. But this is a video of a crazy white lady yelling at people, and those are never not fun to watch. Holy crap! This woman is insane. She's sitting there trying to incite ICE to shoot her. And I'll tell you what's crazy. Based on what I'm seeing in the background, this looks very familiar, or I should say similar to, hey, I saved some other video. I think it was yesterday. Dang it. Where is it? Did anyone see the videos of Minneapolis with the it was like outside of a parking garage thing? Where it showed like, I don't know, 30 people outside of or opposite a huge line of ICE officers. I'm trying to see if I can find it. This might be it. No, I can't really tell. But all this goes to show is this just continues to show this. I mean, it continues to prove this, that conservatives care about their families, their friends, their immediate community, whereas liberals care more about people that don't even belong in this country. They care more about the people that live, 4,000 miles away, and making sure that I can't even think about it. Making sure that some epidemic or pandemic going on in the West Sahara countries is cured and fixed than they do about making sure that homeless veterans aren't living on the streets. Remember, we have outside of everything, we have a pandemic in this country of every 22 minutes a veteran, and they don't care about that. They would rather they'd rather throw $55 billion at California to build a high-speed rail and get 30 feet of rail line than they would making sure that homeless problems are actually taken care of, that drugs aren't all over on every single street. Oh, okay. I want to show this. I don't know if Jay showed this. I was kind of in and out this morning. But this is a gay pastor making quite the claim.
So as I arrived at church yesterday, I noticed that there was something going on just a block and a half from the church. And so I grabbed my whistles because we're used to doing that. And I went down to see what was going on. And I realized it was an ICE raid. And there were many, many protesters. So I joined the protesting.
So what's crazy is we already know he's lying, because not a single one of these ICE raids have actually had many protesters at them. All the protesters end up at the night rallies where they can sit there and scream and shout, and not deal with any actual repercussions.
Before I knew it, I saw ICE agents circling a young woman who appeared to be Hispanic. And so I approached her, and we were at that point chanting, "We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Go out of our state. We are not afraid." And I said to this ICE agent, "Take me. Stop harassing her. Take me." The
Liar.
agent came, got in my face, pointed a gun at me, and said, "Are you afraid now?"
There's no freaking chance in hell that happened. There is no way that there is a single member of ICE that would have taken a gun and aimed it at someone without being ready to fire. Exactly. I'll take shit that never happened for 500, please.
To which I said, "I am not afraid." The next thing I knew, they were putting handcuffs on me, and they put me in the back of an SUV. They came back 3 times, and they asked me if I was afraid yet. To which I replied, "Hell no, I'm not afraid of you, and I'm never going to be afraid of you."
Do we have a name of this guy? I think it said it somewhere over here. Reverend Kenny Callaghan. Okay. I wonder if ICE has responded to this. Reverend. I'll tell you what, they just give those letters away, don't they? I had to pass the test and go to school to get mine. But apparently you don't have to do anything to get Reverend. Let's see. Does not look like they've responded. That's unfortunate. Damn. Come on, ICE. Respond. We want a response. That would be way too funny. So this was, I love this guy. Y'all seen Greg Bavino, the border patrol, the border commander that just is not afraid to do anything? Yeah. Mm-hmm. They continue. It's so annoying. And Mexican Ironman's right. White people are so fucking boring. They're so upset with having just some of the greatest history ever that they want to destroy civilization for their children. I'm sick of white people. We're terrible. So, Greg Bavino, I didn't leave. I didn't have a say in leaving. I got a call last Friday morning. Said, "Hey, we need you to hop on a call." I was actually off. I was on PTO. And so I joined this call, and they go, "You're being let go. This is not performance based. It's a reduction in force for the health of the firm." So, wasn't my decision. It was a stupid decision though, because I've been keeping tabs on how everything's going, and it is a shit show. So like I was saying, Greg Bavino, he walks into the Minneapolis or the Minnesota State House, and apparently gets yelled at.
Can we say breaking news? Commander Bavino has taken control of the Minnesota State Capitol.
This is a beautiful state house. I'm a big fan of this. Oh, maybe he doesn't get yelled at. It's a beautiful state house. I love those old buildings. Well, I mean, Minnesota isn't even that old, so it's probably not even that old of a building. But the other thing, so Minneapolis, the public school district there has canceled all in-person classes through February 12th. They think that it's going to be so bad for over a month that it's not safe for kids to go to school in person. Like, that's insane. Oh, expect more Twitter attorneys talking about this. Absolutely punishing the parents. That too. So the teachers union could go out there and protest and scream, because that's probably I will not sit here and say that unions have never been good. Unions played a very vital role in 1926, but the vast majority of unions today have nothing good about them. They are all there to charge people money out of their paychecks and do absolutely nothing for the actual members. The teachers union does nothing but finance the Democratic Party. 99.9% of all donations from members of the teachers union are to Democrats. It's a front for Act Blue. It is a criminal enterprise. That's what I think about it. So Trump sat down for an interview with Hannity and says, well, this is kind of crazy. First sit-down interview since Maduro's capture. It's been like 4 days.
We are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs, we are going to.
This is what a war on drugs looks like. Not the shit we've been doing for 40 years now. Take it to the actual people producing this stuff. Attack them. Destroy the distribution routes. Don't sit there and overcharge people in the U.S. Take it to the people creating the problem. What's up, Cole Hauser? Cole Hauser's being better than all of us because Cole Hauser is currently at the gym. It's day 9 of 2026, and I still haven't gone. I probably should. But I think this is great. That woman, that president of Mexico, got up there. I think it was like last May, and claimed that she was going to start suing the United States so that she could prevent us from charging fees on remittances back to Mexico. Remittances from the United States are like 5 to 10% of the Mexican GDP, which means 5 to 10% of the wealth of Mexico is coming from money from the United States. That's ridiculous. We should not be letting that. We don't tax remittances at all. Like, we don't charge, outside of a bank fee, we don't charge anything for them. And I loved what Scott Bessett said last night, that I think I bookmarked it. Let me see if I can find it. Corn Boy, thank you for that. How do we know that? Let me find Corn Boy, while you answer that question, let me find what I was talking about. Yes. Let's see. Here we go. Treasury Secretary Bestnet announcing tonight from Minnesota, starting tomorrow, if you're on public assistance, you can't wire money out of the country. Beautiful. And David here is talking just about Somalia in general. This is a thing across the country, across the world. We saw that that chart that I think Bestnet was the one showing everyone of the vast majority of people not born in the United States that live here are on welfare. And if half of those people are sending money overseas, think about the billions of dollars just lost. That money should be staying in the United States. And this is a perfect way of doing it. I am all for this. Let's see. Thank you, Corn Boy. The United States, so this is wrong. It's SCOTUS, not USSC. Did not rule on tariffs Monday, instead issuing a ruling for Bow v. U.S. concerning whether federal prisoner can. Okay, whole lot of ads on this shit. So, again, just because a bunch of people said they were going to review or they were going to rule today doesn't mean they were. The Supreme Court doesn't tell people, we're going to issue this ruling on this day. If someone tells you the Supreme Court's going to announce it, this day, they're lying. They don't know. The only instance of really us finding out early was the Roe v. Wade decision, or the I don't even remember what the case was. 3 or 4 years ago when they overturned Roe v. Wade. That's almost the only time in, at least since I've been alive, that a decision by the Supreme Court was leaked. I don't think this decision is going to be cited for a while. I genuinely think the Supreme Court wants to wait and see how much money gets brought in, because I don't think they want to side against Trump on this. I don't even think the liberals want to do it, because the amount of money that the United States would have to pay back it's a staggering amount of money. I also don't think we should have to pay it back. Just because something is found to be unconstitutional doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep the money. Like, I think that's ridiculous. Which is why I think Costco will lose that lawsuit they've threatened to file if the Supreme Court decides that Trump didn't have the authority to issue those tariffs. Now, taking another little head spin here, I find it interesting that all of this fraud in Minnesota exists. Did anybody know who Tim Walz was prior to being announced as the running mate for Kamala Harris? I sure as heck had no idea I didn't even know Minnesota had changed their flag. Like, the only thing I knew about Minnesota was the Minnesota Twins, and that was it. So I find it interesting, just a little, tinfoil hattie, that the running mate was a governor that no one knew about, and suddenly all of the and overnight, don't forget that they announced Tim Walz as the running mate, or she announced Tim Walz as the running mate, and overnight the most donations to a campaign in history, or in a day, the most donations for a day to a campaign in history. It was like $35 million in one day. Former Governor Jesse the Body Ventura was on the news yesterday displaying his TDS. That's hilarious. Yeah. I think that part of the reason for him getting chosen was because they knew he'd be able to bring in a bunch of money from these Somalians. So Iran's supreme leader declares, this is 2 hours ago from Polymarket, we will not retreat an inch in the face of the protesters. He's offered citizens $7 a month to stop protesting against his regime. Yeah, this is the thing that I love about this, Corn Boy. So Corn Boy sends me this article from The Independent about Jesse Ventura calling Trump a draft dodger. Jesse Ventura is also the guy that went after Chris Kyle's widow like 4 months after he was murdered for defamation. Remember, and I think I'm right about this. So Chris Kyle's widow, Tyra, something like that, Kyle, wrote a book in which she said, I think, like, Jesse Ventura was, mean or something. I don't really remember what she said. And he sued her for defamation. Taya, yeah. Sued her for defamation. In which no one knew what, because, not a lot of people bought that book. The popular book for Chris Kyle was, I think, the one that he wrote, right? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it was the book by him. Oh, no, it was co-written by Jim something and Scott McEwen. And then she wrote a book like a year or two later, and in which she, I guess, defamed Jesse Ventura, and he flipped out because he's kind of a bitch. I don't think Taya sued him. I'm pretty sure he sued her. Let's find out. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like I'm slightly misinformed on this. So Jesse Ventura sued Chris Kyle because Chris Kyle wrote in his book that Chris punched out Jesse Ventura. When Chris Kyle died, he continued the lawsuit against Taya instead of just, ending it. Definitely just kind of. I was still pretty close. Did y'all see the flyers on the McDonald's? So a Minnesota McDonald's was doing another. They apparently hired a security officer.
We couldn't help but notice there's a sign that says no ice on the door.
Yeah, just to let you know, at the end of the day, this is private property. So you can't just break the law because you're a federal agent. It's like coming into your house or coming to any other restaurant. There's rules. So.
Did the manager put that on the door? How did that get there?
I'm not sure, but it's there.
How do you guys enforce it?
They read the sign. You know, at the end of the day, you have all right to come in and make a purchase. It's just there's rules and regulations. You can't just walk behind the counter.
So Betty Johnson reached out to McDonald's, and McDonald's apparently replied, we're in touch with the owner-operator to this franchised restaurant and have confirmed that this flyer was posted without approval and has since been taken down. The owner-operator is reiterating expectations with their restaurant team regarding appropriate signage. I would have loved to have seen a McDonald's employee try to kick ice out of their restaurant. That would have been really, really fun to watch. So you can't enforce a warrant if they stay behind the counter? That's interesting. So let me see. Because SCOTUS, I read something earlier this morning about a decision from SCOTUS. Let's see. Do we have a decision yet on anything? John, I do have a judge's robe on. Let's see. So the people over at SCOTUS blog, which is a pretty good reference point for Supreme Court decisions, believe that Roberts is still writing the opinion for the tariffs case. Let's see, but what decisions? Yeah, Cornboy, I saw that. I saw that earlier, which is what made me look at this. So there, one of the decisions that we're also waiting for is the transgenders in sports case. And it was, we might have a decision here. So Boe v. United States. This is kind of a boring case. That's nothing. Or it's not. It's important for their stuff, but it's not really important for what we're kind of wanting to see. I think Boe is the only case that was decided today. So you're not wrong. So there's a transgender case going on in the Supreme Court that they held oral arguments for in October. We've got 29, I think it's 29 states. Yeah, 29 states that say you cannot be a man and play women's sports. Even if you're transgender, even if you're going through hormone replacement, all that crap. You can't do it. If your license says man, you're in man sports. If your birth certificate says man, you're playing man sports. So there was a case that was argued in the Supreme Court back in October, basically saying that these bans were unconstitutional. The West Virginia AG is apparently expecting a 9-0 decision, saying that these bans are constitutional, and further saying that Title IX basically says men in men's sports, women in women's sports. That would be a huge victory, and I think would go a long way to trying to pull the Democratic Party back from this insanity that they've been dealing with in gender shit. Do you think the learned Justice Jackson mistakes do you think they learned from Justice Jackson's mistakes and not to use AI to write their replies, at least proofread read it before delivery? So the way that decisions are written, I'll say 9 out of 10 times, is the justice that's writing the decision, that's authoring the decision, basically writes up a bunch of notes, and it's going to show something like yes, or they give their clerks like a grid that basically shows the questions of the case, the decision of the justice, and precedent and stuff like that, and why they're deciding that. Then they give that to their clerks, and the clerks write the decisions. At the end of the day, the justice is supposed to read the case, read the decision, sign off on it, all that, add notes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't, unless these clerks are using AI to write this shit, which would be a really dumb thing to do, because not only are bar associations all over the country censoring attorneys for using AI in written stuff, you can use AI to research things. Like, I do it all the time here. Let's say I've got a client that's calling about vesting. So vesting is how you take your home. So on your deed, it's going to show, if you buy your house by yourself, it's going to show John Doe, single person, something like that. If you buy it with your wife, it might show John Doe and Jane Doe as joint tenants with right of survivorship and not as tenants in common, at least here in South Carolina. Well, if I'm trying to explain what that is between joint tenants and indestructible right of survivorship, I might ask Grok, explain which I already I already know the difference, but there might be something that I just, don't have like a firm grasp on or something. This is not it. But Wasp, you have a great night or a great day. Explain the difference between joint tenants with right of survivorship and tenants in common in real estate. And it's going to spit me out an answer that obviously I'm going to read the answer and make sure that it's correct. And this, all of this is correct so far. So this is something that I would kind of explain to buyers. I don't have to do this for this anymore because I know the differences. But that's the sort of thing that bar associations in general aren't really opposed to you using AI for. But if I were to sit here and ask Grok to write me a decision on the, Doe v. Doe case in South Carolina that creates tenants in common with an infrastructure provider survivorship, the bar would probably censor me and might even disbar me for using it, because not only am I not using my own time and my own work and billing for more time than I actually used, but I'm putting on the database, on the data centers, the private information. I'm giving Grok access to information that Grok should not have access to. So that we have a whole lot of issues in the industry using this stuff. And honestly, I think it needs to go harder. I think law firms that dive into AI more than beyond just kind of research based need to start getting in trouble, because I think it's criminal. So I'm sitting here looking at a video of Nick Shirley going to this business in Minnesota that has like 9 different businesses in it. So I don't think she was caught using it on a decision. I think she was caught using it to like make decisions. I think what she was doing was, let me just Google it, because I don't remember what she did. Justice Jackson caught using AI. I don't have anything from Justice Jackson. I've got other justices or other judges, federal judges, Judge Henry T. Wingate of the Southern District of Mississippi and Judge Julian Xavier Niels of the District of New Jersey, acknowledging that they used AI or that their clerks used AI and the AI came up with decisions that were incorrect, and that flawed their judgment. But I don't have anything from Justice Jackson. Cole Hauser, I don't disagree, but I'm not gonna pop that up here. What was I talking about? Yes, Justice Jackson. We mentioned it earlier. Yes, Justice Jackson is probably the worst appointed justice in the history of the court. There are probably a whole bunch of other Black female judges out there that would probably have been better appointees, but they clearly wanted someone that wasn't really going to think for themselves and was just going to do everything that was anti-Trump. Ooh. So this is, what's this guy's name? Will Cain. He's a Fox News host. And Representative Seth Moulton. This is supposed to be good.
Interviewed any eyewitnesses on the ground?
That's what we were just talking about.
Have you interviewed any eyewitnesses on the ground in Minneapolis? Have you interviewed any eyewitnesses?
Have I personally interviewed them? No,
Yes.
That's not my job. My job is to speak truth to power.
It's really interesting.
Oh my God. My job is to speak truth to power. No, sir. Your job I'll tell you what your job is. Rep Seth Moulton. Your job is to represent the people, the United States citizens of the 6th District of Massachusetts. That's your job. Not to sit there and send out tweets, not to sit there and tell people what happened in a state that's not even your damn state. Your job is to do what's best for the people that live in your district, not for any other group of people. That's the problem with, but honestly, this is part of the problem with both parties, is they see their job as to be making sure to make the Congress and the country super red or super blue. No, your job when you get elected, whether you have an R or a D next to your name, is to go, you know what? You are a citizen of the 5th District of South Carolina, the 6th District of Minnesota, the 4th District of Massachusetts, wherever. You are a citizen of my district. What can I do to make your life better? What votes are coming up in the State House or the Capitol building? Holy crap! That are important to you. How do you want me to vote? That's your job. That's it. Your job is not to go onto Fox News and sit there and say, you know what? This woman was helping protect the illegals from ICE. Not your job. Not your job. Your job is to make sure that the people of your district have a better life after you leave office. That's it. That's all your job is. I hope you enjoyed that. Clearly, Badfish did. Insomniac. I was just talking about that. I don't think she used AI on a decision. If she used AI to write a decision, I would say yes, she should probably be removed. Well, actually, you know what? At the end of the day, no. You can only impeach a justice for small crimes and misdemeanors. And using AI is not a small crime or misdemeanor. As much as we all probably wish it was for judges, it's not. Now, the problem is AI still is not good enough to, and AI is not going to be able to reason new stuff. That's why whenever every 4 or 5 months you start searching something about Donald Trump, it says Donald Trump's not the president, because suddenly you had a swath of Reddit comments and Facebook posts talking about how Donald Trump didn't swear in correctly or something like that. So the AI is reading all these things because Meta and Reddit are selling the data on their websites to these data centers to help train AI. And so AI is taking all this information, and they think that the way that AI thinks, the way that it processes this information, is it makes an assumption that what it's reading is true. And most of the time it's not, because the internet is bullshit. Exactly. It's not AI. It's data aggregation. It takes all the data and says, we're going to say that, 70% of this data is saying this. So that's probably the truth. When, you take 70% of the internet and it's all lies. 70, shit, it's probably 90. Except for this channel. We're all truth here, baby. Trump v. Casa AI. Okay. I remember reading that decision. It was pretty shit. AI. Justice Jackson. Exactly. I don't see. You know what? I'm just gonna ask. Oh God, take me off. So Andrew and Insomniac, y'all are talking about this. So is this just an assumption being made by people that read the dissent, or is there like an actual post about this or something? Is there like an actual acceptance from let's see. No, AI detectors and side-by-side comparisons were feeding similar prompts to ChatGPT produce stylistic similarities. Okay, so I think it's probably more likely that her clerks just didn't spend the time that they should have, and they spent a bunch of time using AI. I don't think it's likely that she or the clerks just put in a prompt and say, okay, copy and paste and submit it. I think they heavily used AI, but I don't think it was just because that would just be ridiculous. And I don't think that they are even that dumb. Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna start wrapping up here. I think we all got stuff we want to do. I know Daily just started, so if you're still here, I appreciate that. If you know that's from, we can be friends. Oh, and I also love this. So, Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis, is demanding access to the FBI's investigation on the shooting of whatever her name is, Rachel Good, Rebecca Good, something like that, claiming that they are preventing the Minnesota or Minneapolis Police Department, their teams, from investigating. I don't know if you're just an idiot. I mean, Mayor Fry seems to be an idiot, but that's not the way it works. The Minneapolis Police Department investigates shootings by Minneapolis Police Department. The FBI investigates shootings by federal law enforcement. That's the way it works. You have no dog in this fight. It was not one of your cops. Just because, and it also wasn't one of your citizens. Let the Missouri mayor complain about the Missouri governor complain about this. This is not your job, buddy. Again, this is a Democrat posturing, trying to make everything look like smoke and mirrors. He's terrified that he's going to get pulled up in all of this stuff that they're investigating. So he's trying to make it look like he's an enemy to Trump so that he can claim that this is political harassment. That's all this is. Anything coming out of Minnesota or Minneapolis right now is smoke and mirrors. All of it. Oh, another thing. Okay. This is the only legal advice I'm providing on this show. If you get pulled over or a cop says, leave, or get out of the car, get out of the fucking car. Don't try to run over police officers. Okay? I can't believe people have to say that. God, these people. What? Well, yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you all have a great day. We're going to be over on King's Advisors playing some more Red Dead Redemption 2 later this afternoon. Probably about 2 o'clock. We'll be there for a while. Also, President Trump says that Diddy wrote him a handwritten letter. It's kind of the way it works, asking for a pardon, but that he is not considering the request. So good news there. I cannot raid because we're not monetized yet. Once we're monetized, I'll be able to raid. But I know there's some awesome people live right now. I think Tabitha is still live. So I'm going to drop her link in the chat. Would love for y'all to go over there and say hello. Until then, y'all have a great day. Hang on. Wait. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. Because we have a new tradition here, started 2 days ago, where at least once we listen to the greatest AI song ever sung. This is for all of you out there. Do not go meekly into the good night. Do not black pill. There's good in this world. It is worth fighting for. Do not.
I'm Tampon Tim, the people's friend. Free tampons for all the men. Daycare's full of kids, well, kinda. But the money goes to my dear friends from Somalia. Hey, fraud all day. Billions gone astray. Ghost kids, no one's there. Welcome to Tampon Tim's Daycare. Tampons in the boys' room, that's my plan. While my friends cash checks across the land. Feeding our future, what a name. Empty buildings, still the same. Hey, fraud all day. Billions gone astray. Ghost kids, no one's there. Welcome to Tampon Tim's Daycare. Tampon Tim, Tampon Tim
Have a great night, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you later.